Hello and welcome to the Table Talk Wednesdays here at the CDL Café, where leadership isn't just talked about, it's challenged. This isn't your typical leadership conversation. This is where we gather around the table every week to ask hard questions and put character back to the center of how we lead. Sometimes it's just us, the team, sharing real reflection, and sometimes we pull up an extra seat for a guest whose voice brings fresh perspective, bold insight, and lived experience to the table. Because around here, we believe leadership that isn't rooted in character won't last. Leadership that doesn't challenge the system won't change it. And leadership that's all image and no substance isn't leadership at all. So grab your coffee, lean in, and let's get into today's table talk. Let's go.
Welcome to the character-driven leadership, where we talk everything about leadership, and we are, we gather on the table at the character-driven leadership cafe to talk about the center of leadership, which is character. That's why we call it the character-driven leadership. So everything is surrounded around character, and all the topics that we talk about in the cafe are topics that are being avoided by most leaders out there. And our initiation and the movement is born to bring character back to the center. And we are happy to have you on our last episode for the year of 2025, because now we are going into a season of holidays, as known to all the people. But for us, it's not a season of holidays as much as it is a season for us to reflect back on our successes, failures, and everything, to refine and work on whatever we're working on to make it better for the next year. So we want to thank you to be our last guest, and we hope that you will be ready for today's topic, because, as I said, on the table here, we don't have any kind of filtered conversation. We just talk. We share things that most people are afraid to share. So our topic today is the rise of transactional leaders and why these leaders are rising. And when Dr. Leroy told me that you will join us on this episode, I thought that this topic is very suitable for you, because I think that we had a conversation, me and you, in the past, and I felt that you are the one, regardless of what are the challenges you're going through, you're pushing and you're doing your best to achieve your goals. So I thought that this topic is suitable for us to talk about, especially at this time of the year, and especially that it is the last episode of the character-driven leadership. So as a ritual, as a conversation at the character-driven leadership, we don't give an introduction about who join us, because you are our guest on the table, and we just ask you, who is Prince Solomon? And you just tell us about yourself, and then we will ask you for your drink, we'll serve the drink, and the conversation will go from there. So, so who is Prince Solomon?
Who is Prince Solomon? Wow. I'm usually asked when I'm on podcast or a roundtable discussion, I'm usually asked, tell us about yourself. And someone who graduated from the university about 3 years ago and did a whole lot of interviews. One of the questions I'm usually faced with is, so tell us about you. Who is this guy? Who is transitioning from that space has not been easy as to give a definition of who I am in a broader sense. But I'm gonna say this here, since we're having unfiltered conversation, Prince Solomon is a tenacious beast. He's He's someone who doesn't take no. He doesn't like taking no. Prince Solomon is someone who burrows through mountains. I grew up from a slum and currently running a business that employs a good number of youth, paying them what the Nigerian government can't pay as minimum wage. So this is like in the span of 3 years. I don't really know how to put it, but I can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So yeah, I'm that entrepreneur who is a go-getter. I'm that entrepreneur who likes beating his goals. I'm that entrepreneur who is very, very aggressive when it comes to doing what is right. And growing up in the university, I've also learned people management. So yeah, all around, I'm this kind of person who enjoys setting goals. I enjoy meeting my goals, beating my goals. I enjoy making money. I enjoy talking passion. I enjoy talking purpose. And I enjoy doing things that makes me happy and put a smile on people's face. So that's Ben Solomon. Yeah.
Awesome. So, what does leadership, like when you hear the word leadership, and especially today we're telling you character-driven leadership, what comes to your mind?
I think it's leadership by design, leadership by modeling. That is what, when I saw the topic and when I saw the cafe, what it's all about, I was like, hey, this is something that I'd seen and I'd also experienced. So it's, to me, I think it's leadership by design, modeling people or molding people rather into what they see, a picture they see, mentoring people into the purpose of that they've received. All right. I am someone of the Christian faith. And because I'm into the Christian faith, we believe in the presence of a being, all right, God. And I believe leadership is all about excavating the potentials that God has deposited in every one of us, uh, and helping people around us to live in the fullness of all that there is inside of them. So that's what I think character-driven leadership is all about.
All right. All right. Now, what you would like to drink?
If you have a Coke, that would be better.
I told you, you're going to have to expand that beverage menu, Doc.
All right. All right. So we're gonna take something that is closer to a soda drink. All right.
Is that like a
So here's what I'm gonna
$30
do. No, here's what I'm gonna do. I love these moments. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If leadership was a drink,
Uh-huh.
if leadership was a drink, what is it going to be for you, and why you have chosen this drink? This is going to tell me a lot about your, uh, character and personality, because today's topic is hot.
Mm. So if leadership is a drink, I'll take a ginger tea.
All right, go ahead.
So the
Why you
flavor
have
of a
chosen
ginger,
it?
all right. So it's hot in the mouth, but it's medicinal.
Hmm.
So what I tend to do for people around me as a leader is that I don't pamper people. I don't I
Mhm.
don't make them feel comfortable. I'm hot in the mouth, and over the period of time, they begin to see all of the workings that have been worked inside of them, all of the antibacterial, antioxidants, and all of that. You don't readily see it on the go. With time, you begin to experience a change in your attitude, a change in your system. So I'm like that ginger tea that's very hot in the mouth, but very medicinal. So yeah, I'll go for that drink.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that. I love that. All right. So I'm gonna kick off with my question, and then let's take the conversation from there. All right.
Right.
And I'm just sharing. I'm saying this because Atala and Dr. Leroy don't think that I'm taking the conversation all on my own. I'm just going to kick off with a question, and then you just start talking whatever you think. All right? So, Prince Solomon, as I told you, I mean, like with everything that you have shared, I felt that what I thought about you is right. This topic is for you to talk about. All right? So, why are transactional leaders rising today?
From an economical perspective, I think the world has become more rigid. I think the world is too systemized. And
Hmm.
only people, well, I want to use the word only, the people who will get more from the system of this world, from the rigidity of the world, are people uh, who are big on transactional leadership, people who focus more on getting their goals, and they they are more of people who also look at, I'm looking for a good word here now, they don't really care more about people's thoughts. They don't care more about people's emotions. They just want to get the things done. And because we're in a world where everybody is on the go, where everybody's on the push, everybody wants to get a chunk of this from that person, I think to maximize the economy we are, people or companies, corporate bodies are employing more transactional leaders to push people to get the result. So because the world keeps getting systemized, automated, I think we will see more rise of transactional leaders.
Hmm. And from the way you describe yourself, you're aggressive in your goals, and you love setting goals. And do you call yourself a transactional leader, or?
That's actually a good one. I think I'm flexible, I'm malleable. That's one of the things I've learned over the years as a leader, is that there are certain seasons where we have to be tough on people, and there are certain seasons where we have to allow people to express themselves. So I'm a bit of both. I'm not that rigid. I allow for flexibility. And I won't really say that I'm a transactional leader, like at the get-go, 100%. But my strong suit actually is being a transactional leader. That's my strong suit. But yeah, I'm a bit flexible too.
Hmm, awesome. So, why do you think that in today's world, these transactional leaders are failing even when they are performing on a paper?
I think in this season we're having more work-life balance, and people are becoming more aware of finding their passion, finding their fit, finding their joy in a corporate setting or whatever setting they find themselves in. And transactional leaders are actually, they are like, they are supervisors, and also they are like tyrants to some extent, especially in industries. Things must be done this way, and it is that way things get done. People don't express themselves. And because people don't express themselves how they would love to express themselves, sometimes expressing themselves creatively, they tend to rebel. And sometimes they get their motivation drops. And when motivation drops, obviously companies earning also drops. And when companies earning drops, sometimes companies also look at the reason for those things. And I think one of the
Hmm,
reasons why transactional leadership may fail or is actually gradually, excuse me, failing is that people, we are seeing less creativity and more rigidity. And because people are not
hmm,
expressing themselves, we will often point at those who are their coordinators, those who are their leaders. And as I said earlier, having the kind of world system that we are in, where you have a lot of transactional leaders, I think the bulk of the problem will always go back to the leader, the system they're employing in making sure that people achieve goals or companies are achieving their goals. So I think this is one of the reasons why transactional leadership may fail in certain organizations.
Hmm. Well, I would love to hear the input of Dr. McKinsey on that, and after that we will go to Atala because we have Dr. McKinsey, who is a business consultant, and Atala is a coach who talks about leadership values. And today we're talking about transactional leaders. So it's good to have, multiple perspective around that. So what would you say, Dr.
Absolutely.
McKinsey?
Well, I would say I don't know if. Well, no, I will agree that there is a rise in transactional leadership, and I think that the reason behind that is because we've become more and more um, less empathetic, less emotional, less what's the word I'm looking for? Less caring in not only in our personal lives, but also in our in the workplace, in the marketplace, and we've made it even with the digital technology rise that we've had. I think the more we've had that, the more transactional we've become. And I do think that that plays a part in us becoming more transactional. One of the things that I talk about all the time and I can't stand is when I need assistance, and I'm calling to a company and all I get is automation. To me, that's just transactional. That's not
Mhm.
leadership. That's just plugging in something so that it can take care of whatever it is, and then that person can be moved on. That's transactional to me. When I go to the store here, grocery store or Home Depot or one of the stores, and they have these self-serve aisles or self-serve lane, that's transactional to me. You don't have that conversation, kind of interaction that you have with the person. I intentionally don't use the self-serve because I know it's causing people's jobs because they don't if they're using a computer then they're using less and less people and I'm just like I don't like that. I don't like someone being replaced by a robot, or by something that is only transactional that doesn't have emotion. Yes, is AI and all of this good stuff that we use, is it good? Yeah, absolutely it is. But I think the kind of like the drawback to it is what we're talking about today. The rise of transactional leadership, the rise of transactional people. We as people have become just transactional. It's unfortunately it's the digital, it's the world that we are coming to more and more deal with, and as a consequence, you have more and more leaders, more and more people that are just transactional. They don't care about their employees, and Tyler may be able to talk more about that, where they don't care about their employees. It's just, hey, what's my bottom line say? Are you getting the results that I need you to be able to get? If not, then I can replace you. Not really caring about what's going on with that person. You know, what they're dealing with at home. And I learned that years ago working for this company where we did this retreat, and we learned more about each other. And it wasn't just the hi bye, how you doing, speaking and going on, where you kind of got to know a little bit more. And I ain't saying you got to tell all your business because I don't believe in that either, telling you all your business. But but I also think that there's a difference between an organization and a leader that is just transactional versus what Solomon was saying, where you're dealing with a you're dealing with someone. and it's more than just, what's the bottom line is, and coming to work and not dealing with people and then going back home, or if I got to call a company, I'm not just dealing with with automation, that type of thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right, right. Atala, what's your input?
Yes, it's just because it's becoming more or less human connected, no? Less human connection. So when we're talking about, we're missing that, talk, that conversation, that how are you feeling, that it's just really disconnecting us, not just from people, even from ourselves. You see in companies, sometimes in the past when I was working in the hospital, I really break a lot of the barriers because for me it was the connection. So how am I going to help people when I don't know exactly how they're truly feeling? How am I going to help people when I don't know exactly if they are really need something else besides what we're offering? So you have to really break sometimes those barriers, because if you want to provide the best care, the best service, you have to really understand that it's not white and black. Every person that you're interacting has their own story, their own way of thinking, their own needs, and that's important. Besides cultural, besides where they're from, all those things. So I think that we need to humanize a little bit more, not in a negative way, just like go back to the basis. Human connection is important regardless, I never gonna replace a human touch, ever. Every time everything becomes more transactional. Between even conversations, even with families, less connection, more, there is a division. There is no integration. So think about leaders also. Everybody's going through their own problems, every time it's more mechanic, everything. And I think also leaders sometimes they are just looking for their own benefits, right? So I think in these days it's so important to truly just start looking like how I'm really living my life, how I'm leading my life, how I lead in my business. Because at the end of the day, whatever we're doing, we want to make an impact. What is the true impact that we want to make in humanity? So I think transaction is important. We always are buying something, getting something, but what is happening between, that's the problem. When you go to the stores, everything is so mechanic. When you go to, even sometimes, I hear it where people tell me, it's because I don't have the opportunity to talk to my supervisor, to my boss. Why not? We're closing the doors. So how people can come to us when we're not able to be open, to listen truly? So I think it's a problem of also, I think of communication, values, the principles that we're talking about, the integration of all these elements that can truly make us more connected and being in alignment, and at the end of the day, live with higher purpose. I'm hoping that makes sense. But it's a lot of disconnection because we're becoming so mechanical. So that's a mindset, pushing a button, and then you get an answer. People are becoming so low level of tolerance, right? Because we want everything so fast. So it's you buy, you get, you buy, you get. Relationships, for example, everything has to be done quickly. People don't take the time to get to know somebody. The same thing in leadership. We don't take the time to really know our team. Let's find their talents. Let's know what they're so good about it, And that way we can embrace and we can become better as a team. So it's a big topic. I really believe so.
Yeah.
So, Prince Solomon, what would you say?
I think Dr. Leroy and uh, sorry,
Coach
I'm
Atala.
trying to get the coach,
Atala.
Coach Atala. Yes. So I think they actually said it very well. They actually gave us the midpoint to what I was trying to say. I really got a lot from hearing both of them speak. So yeah, that midpoint of connecting with people, that point of communicating, that point of being emotional with people, being sympathetic with people, empathy, having empathy with those
Mm.
around you. I think these are the turning points in leadership. Whoever understands that as a leader has actually touched the jackpot.
So let me ask you this question. What happens when leadership becomes a trade instead of relationship?
You have disgruntled people, and sometimes the organization tends to fall. And organizations that do well with having transactional leaders are organizations that can fire you and recruit someone else and keep the circle going. But if it is an organization that looks for a long-term goal, wants to get a long-term result, and they are using transactional leaders as their managers and all of that, those kind of systems usually fail. It doesn't usually last because people get fed up with not expressing themselves. And because they don't express themselves, motivation decreases and production also decreases, and invariably that company sinks or that organization sinks. So yeah, that's what I think.
Right, Solomon, I have a question for you because you say they don't express themselves. Don't you think sometimes leaders don't give the opportunity to express themselves? They don't invite them to be open, to be able to don't be moving in fear. Sometimes leaders are so controlling that they don't allow their team to really express their needs, their emotions, what they don't like, what they want to change. So I think it's not just what they don't express. As a leaders, we need to invite them to express.
Can I get the question again, Atala?
I'm sorry? Yes. What I was listening to you is you say that people sometimes they don't express themselves. I think that is, as a leaders, we need to invite them to express themselves because sometimes leaders they can be so controlling. Sometimes they are just not allowed their staff, their team to be able to express their ideas, to be able to express I'm not agree with you. Maybe I can suggest you this other idea. So I think it's the opposite. If a leader has that open relationship and connection, people will be able to express themselves. That makes sense?
Yes,
They don't
yes.
fear of being able to say something that maybe is not going to be heard, then it's not going to be valuable. So I think it's more the leader. A leader who's able to be open can reach people naturally. A people who listen to their team will get the answers. That makes sense?
Yes, yes. So when I actually spoke about communication, I think communication is a two-way thing. It's not a one-person thing. So openness in communication starts from the higher ups. If the higher ups are open and receptive to people's idea, I think, as you said, it allows the people below to also express themselves. So this is a flow of communication now. The higher ups are expressive, the people below are expressive. And once this one is expressing his creativity, now expressing in the way I see it, the way I say it is all about creativity also. You expressing your creativity. If leaders allow people to be expressive, all right, you find out that you have organizations that thrives with creative people. People bring out ingenuity in them, and such organization we invariably also thrive too. So yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you, Dr. Talia.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, when you were talking, you reminded me of something that happened with me. I had an ad on social media, and I got some inquiries, and I started handling these inquiries. And one of the people told me that, "Are you for real, or you're an automation?" I was like, "No, I said, "No, I'm a human." And
And that's the
he started,
thing.
yeah, exactly,
That's
exactly.
the thing. Technology has gotten so advanced that 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 you it's very difficult. You got to really pay attention in order to be able to see if something is really AI generated or if it's a human being. I mean, that's how tough it is. Like I tell her, I'm looking at your picture right now, your picture could actually be AI. That would be an AI. You'd be like, is that really a talent, or is that AI? Is that AI speaking?
That is something that I have found also about AI is great, but also we have to be careful, because it can also create patterns of confusion, patterns of doubt, all those things. Because I have seen also people spending hours, hours, hours. So think about all the patterns that you are doing. Sometimes maybe you have a great answer and you're still thinking that you need to improve that. So we have to be very careful about this
Yeah,
super
yeah.
technology that is absorbing also a lot of time, great ideas that we can have, creativity that we naturally have. So we need to think about all those things too. It's great, but also
That's why that that's why when I'm recording my voiceover, I try to put everything that reflects me. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
technology cannot copy. I'm
Right.
serious. I'm real. I'm real. So when this
Yeah,
person asked me if I'm real or not, he started asking me tricky questions and personal questions, and we started going a little bit personal. And then what happened? He said, "Thank you so much for taking the time to answer the inquiries about your service and product." And guess what? We developed a relationship uh, out of the blue. Just
Wow.
because I'm a human, I'm not an automation.
and I want to ask Solomon. I want to ask you this because I know this is your expertise in automation, AI, SEO, and everything like that. How are you when you're working with a client or when you're working with your team and everything like that? Do you take into consideration what we're just talking about, that AI generated type of as technology versus the human touch as we're talking about here?
Yes, yes, yes. So we have two preposition we normally give to our client. Do you want your work to be strictly AI, or do you want a team of people to sit and think your work through?
Mm,
And
mm,
most of the
mm,
clients we have, most of about 80% of them will go, give me AI. It's fast, it's quick, it's to some extent they think it's efficient, but we found out that in the market people are looking for organic content. People are
mm,
looking for interactive content. They want to see, they want to feel a human touch to it. You are talking to their pain. They don't want to see the
Right.
dash, dash, dash everywhere and they go, oh, this AI. They want somebody who is talking to them, who is expressive and all of that. So we found out in the business place that AI content may get you the lead, but human content will get you the relationship you need. So we
mhm.
put this two position before our client. Would you want to go this way or you want to go that way? If you go this way, it's a one-way road. If you go this other way, it's a multiple stream road. You can build a relationship, you could get referrals, you build trust and all of that. So we make sure we outline it for our clients. Yes, we do that.
Mm. Yeah,
Gotcha.
see, just like what happened,
Yeah.
I formed a relationship with a totally cold stranger just because I am being a human answering their inquiries. So you're right, you're right, right. So let me ask you this question. You like in my previous question, you said that companies that depends on transactional leaders, they can fire them faster, and get someone else. While if they want, real leaders, if they're thinking long term, they're going to get, emotionally intelligent leaders rather than transactional leaders. So my question to you is, why do transactional leaders win fast but fail faster? Like,
Mm.
don't they realize that they can be replaced? Don't they realize that they might be removed from the company's vision?
Well, that's really a great question. Why they win fast and also fail faster? I think human beings in general, we've been conditioned to take instructions. And when we feel Growing up, we're told do this, do that, get this done, get that done. As we begin to develop, as we begin to interact more with society, we realize that we too can have a say in society. We too can put something into society. We too can get something. So it's already at the basal part of the mind to receive instruction and to act via instruction. And so transactional leaders are those kind of people who tap into that resource, give instruction, we follow instructions. But in the long run, we become discontented with instruction. We want to also give input. We want to be heard. Human beings want to be heard. They want to feel valued. Now, because transactional leaders are not trained to receive value from their subordinates or from those below them, all right. On the long run, the company begins to suffer because these people are no longer motivated. All right, they are beginning to interact more with the society. They are beginning to interact more with the company's vision. They are beginning to interact more with their colleagues, and they also want to share their own ideas too. So transactional leaders have not been built. All right, they've not opened themselves to receive people's input, and because they don't do that, I believe on the long term, companies take KPIs and all of that, and oftentimes they allow those transactional leaders to go and get more emotionally intelligent leaders.
So this question is going to be for you, Prince Solomon, and then I want to hear the perspective of Dr. McKinsey and Atala, because this question might be a mind shifter. It's gonna shift the mind, because I'm always thinking about that. Do you think that what we are suffering from today in the marketplace, do you think it's because people are not aware that transactional leaders are making it worse?
Repeat that for me.
Yeah. Like in today's world, the marketplace, the things that we are living in today, do you think that companies and organizations and big places are not realizing that transactional leaders are a part of this problem? They are creating what we're suffering from today in the marketplace today. Like when we talk about unemployment, when we talk about placing people in the wrong place, putting this here, the absence of, emotional intelligent leaders. Do you think transactional leaders are playing a part in this problem?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. To some extent, I believe it's a system thing. All right, the greed of many organizations. Everybody wants to make sure they are making it faster. They are getting it faster. Goals want to be achieved. Goals that should be achieved in a year, companies want to achieve it in 3 months. And because company wants to achieve it in 3 months, whoever is not meeting quotas. Let's say, for example, I've worked in a warehouse before, and guys keep coming and guys keep going. And the reason guys kept coming and guys kept going was because we had leaders who, if you are not stacking 50 crates, if you're not stacking 100 crates, you are deemed lazy. But there were people who were doing much more than stacking crates. There were people who were motivating others. There were people whose presence in that place was a joy to others. So transactional leaders were not trained to see the importance of these people. And when they look at such a scenario and then they are taking KPIs and they are looking at matrices and all of that, hey, this guy wasn't able to do 500 crates in a month. This guy wasn't able to do 1,000 crates in a month. We should let him go. He is now unemployed, but with a skill set that the leaders didn't see. And the skill set he has is a skill set, he's a team player. And because he's a team player, people around him naturally becomes better. So he's not built with muscles, he's built in the brain. So he doesn't do the heavy work, he does the brain work. Now you can see most people are like, a lot of people are like that. I don't use the word most. A lot of people are like that. They may not fit as a peg in the hole. They may not fit like that. But if you put them in other places where they can express certain things that they have, you will find that they are functioning properly. But transactional leaders have failed to see, they fail to see that. And because they are failing to see that, people usually will be let go when performance are being evaluated. And you keep having rise of unemployment and all of that. People that are well good at, like, I've seen this a whole lot, even in my own company, that I had to employ people who observe. Because I'm looking at the money my clients are making, because I'm trying to see what they are making, all right? This client should be making this amount, this client should be making this amount, this client should be making this amount. I often walk my people and say, all right, this is what we are doing, this is what we are getting. But because I know that sometimes these guys, they have other skill sets that I may not be seeing readily, I employ people that are like, they are like external observers. They come in and they observe, they interact with my people, they interact with the team. They ask, is there something you think you are very good at and you are not doing? Because, hey, if I'm giving you a task and you are not meeting up, a client is losing money at the back end. And because the client is losing money at the back end, the company may lose the client. But if there are better places I can put you in and you can function properly, I will gladly do that and also get somebody to fill your space. And because I understand this on a broader space, I think I'm not more transactional, and I've seen the harm that core transactional leaders are causing organization. So yeah, I think that's why we have a whole of unemployment and the rise of rigidity in the workplace. Transactional leaders should be held accountable too.
What would you say, Dr. McKinsey?
Well, I think that yeah, I think companies, organizations, they play a vital part in the in the transactional leader being prevalent in the workforce, and they have to take accountability for them failing because they know that these are the type of people that they are bringing into their organization. That's intentionally or maybe unintentionally. And if they do their due diligence in the people that they're hiring, I think they would that would be a part of determining before they hire them, is this someone that is transactional? And when I think of transactional, you can say whether or not this is your intent too. A transactional leader is nothing more than a performer. It's someone who is there just to do what you tell me to do, and no more, no less. And I'm going to be transactional in what I'm doing. That's transactional in dealing with the people that work with me, that work for me, and those that I'm even serving, even in the people that we serve as a organization. And if you don't want to be known as a transactional organization, then you can't have if you don't want to be known as a transactional organization, then you can't have people in your organization that have a transactional mindset, because that's what you're going, those are the results that you're going to get. It will only be based on your KPIs. It would only be based on the analytics. It would only be based on, is this person doing what I want them to do? With this person doing what I need them to do, getting the results that I need to get, or is this someone who is transformational in what they're delivering for us as an organization? Transformational organizations come from transformational people. If I'm working, if I'm intentional about hiring transformational people, the results we get are going to be transformational. If I'm hiring, if all I'm doing is hiring transactional people, the results I will get will be transactional. And Donald said it right. It's the culture. It's the culture of what you're delivering. What culture do you want to have out there for you as an organization? Is it transactional or is it transformational? You can pick and choose which one you want how you want your culture to go. That's up to you as the owner or entrepreneur of that particular organization in the industry that you're in and in the marketplace that you're in the marketplace period. So
There you go, Prince Solomon. Now you have another offer to offer your clients if they want transactional or transformational. You know.
yep.
All right.
I would say
Sorry.
something. I
Okay,
think
yes,
not just transformational, but the quality of people that you are leading is going to be the quality of the service that you're going to be delivered as well for the product. Because many years ago, I saw this situation. They put it like a CEO in one of the biggest hospitals and start changing a lot of things and start firing people who had more than 25 years of experience. So practically the best, they were fired. They let them go. And then, guess what? A chaos. Chaos in service, chaos in the care. It was a chaos. And it was a lot of money invest, losses, right? And people were overworking, overwhelmed by working extra hours because they couldn't fix it. So it was a roller coaster. A roller coaster really affects so many things. Patients, also like profits, many, many things. And then guess what? Try to bring back those people, the talent ones. So you have to be very careful when you're putting somebody who's going to be just transactional, because it's going to affect so drastically, the outcome, the people, the care, the service. And I'm not just talking about in a hospital, it's also in organizations, in companies, the same thing, there is no difference. So I believe that when we're talking about what is the quality, what is that outcome that I want to deliver, and how that outcome is going to be truly changing, transforming, impacting those people's lives. It could be a product, it could be a service, it doesn't matter. So we have to be very careful about transactional, transformational, and the quality of the care service product that we want to provide, because everything is also connected. So I think that we need to be very aware about how we're placing leaders that they're going to be just pragmatic, mechanic, no communicating, no connecting, because those people, they're going to provide quick results, but not with the quality, with the effect that we're looking for, with the impact that we want to give. That makes sense. So many little things to consider here also, I think.
Yes. This conversation is rich, as you can see. We can go far with this conversation, but for us to just stay in the time frame and respect the time for everybody, we're gonna close out with the final question that I'm gonna be asking you, Prince Solomon, and that's what are the shifts that we can make or leaders can make to move forward for being transformational, character-based leadership? What could be the shifts that we can do?
So I once worked in a multi-million-dollar industry, a very big industry that's everywhere in Nigeria, and I found out that it actually shifted my mindset before I became an entrepreneur myself. That the mission of the company was the strength of the company. And in the mission of the company, there was transformation in it. And one of the mission statements of the company is that every worker in the company is considered family. So they have seasons where workers go on picnics, retreats, and all of that. They had seasons where they have like in-house games. They have seasons where workers are given hampers. I've never seen it like that. So that situation changed my mind. So if any organization is going to win on the long term, if they're going to win and last, I believe that their mission statement should be that of transformational than transactional. They must be looking to affect the people on the smallest level. They must be able to, the organization leaders must be able to be people minded and not product minded. We are becoming more product minded in the business space, and we are leaving the people out there. And it is the people that makes the product. So if you don't have people who are invested in the product, if you don't have people who are believing in the project, if you don't have people who see themselves as part of that community, all right, on the long run, you will have a dissatisfied organization, an organization that is filled with chaos, an organization that is filled with a whole lot of gossip and a whole lot of anger. And it's like a pressure cooker. Before you know it, it explodes, and then you're dealing with a whole lot, and the company folds. So I believe it starts from the mission statement of the company. Every company must be able to sit down and draft out their mission statement. What are we looking at? How do we want to transform lives? And how do we want to make the people involved in the business? How do we want to make them see themselves as part of the business? And if they do that, I think when people begin to see themselves as part of something huge, part of something big, I believe they will commit more to it and also give their own input and their 100% to it. So yeah, I think that's how organization can thrive by in making sure that they grow and also curbing the excesses of transactional leaders.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Prince Solomon, for being a guest on the Character-Driven Leadership Cafe table, and for joining us for this Table Talk Wednesdays. As a part of our ritual is that before our guests leave the cafe, he has 30 seconds to deliver a message that we use it as a leadership message on the wall. You know, when people go in the cafe and then, you know, they have their coffee, they have their time in the coffee shop, and then they leave a note expressing their experience in the cafe. So what's your leadership message that we are going to put virtually on our cafe's wall? And this leadership message is going to be shared all over our platform. You have 30 seconds to share with us your message.
Thank you so much, Dr. Maki. So I believe that if we become people invested as leaders, if we look for opportunities to affect lives, if we look for opportunities to make people grow as leaders, we will be excavating diamonds in unreal places. People will give their total best if they feel appreciated, feel loved, feel celebrated, and feel honored. They will give their everything to somebody who takes the time to help them to see themselves as part of something big. So this is my message is every leader must look out for the people that are under their wings, help them grow, help them live, help them enjoy life, and help them enjoy what they are doing. And you will be amazed with the results you get.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
Yes.
Love that.
Thank you for the note. Any final word before we sign off?
I just want to thank you also, because I think to me it's just like a reinforcement. You know, I always think that human connection is number one. When you connect at a human level, everything else comes along. So thank you so much for this beautiful conversation.
Thank you, Apollo.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you, Solomon. And I'll just say this, that I think this was a great conversation, and it's something that needed to be had, but we need to be transformational, not transactional. And you all said it perfectly, being people minded versus being product minded. When you focus on the people, I think you become, what Solomon was saying, you become a better organization, you become a better business, and you become a successful business. Real quick, I noticed as you all were talking, or Solomon was talking, I thought about the movie Air about Nike. Nike is a billion-dollar corporation because they invest in people, not and also in their product, but it's the people that they invest in. Their Air Jordan brand became successful because they shaped their product around him and not him around the product. They said that in the movie. They wanted to shape the shoe around him versus him. Or what I mean, they wanted to shape the shoe around him versus him around the shoe, and we see how that turned out and what that can do for you when you're people minded versus product.
I wanted to just say something else. I think it's just awareness. We are people. We are humans. We all feel. We all have needs. If we focus on the main thing, the product, the service is going to be excellent because we're considering the people who are also using them, wearing them, right, creating them. So definitely, I think go back to the basics, but the most important about considering us as a human and understand that we're living with people that has needs. That's major. That's transformative as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this message. The three of you guys, thank you, Prince Solomon, for this valuable and rich conversation. And as I said, if we keep going, this has no end because there are a lot of things we can talk about in leadership, and this topic today was very important. But again, we have to respect the time frame, and for sure, it's not going to be the end. Like the coffee shop is opening and it's expanding. And welcoming every leader who have something valuable that can add value to other people to bring awareness and consciousness in their life and how they can run their own businesses and how they can read what's going on in the world. So that's a wrap up for the 2025. If this journey taught us anything, it taught us that leadership is not transactional. Leadership is not a title. Leadership is not position. Leadership is character, consistency, and courage. And thank you for walking this journey with us. It's time for us to take time to rest, reflect, so we can come back ready for 2026 stronger, with more value to add. And remember that character-driven leadership is here dedicated to help you become a VIP leader, a leader who walks with values, integrity, and principles. And by the way, on the 19th of December, we're having the webinar to teach you the formula of VIP, becoming a VIP leader. So make sure that you register for this event. And we are going to help you become a VIP leader, the new definition of VIP. Don't forget to join our community, to subscribe to the channel, to follow us on Instagram and also on LinkedIn, so we can become a VIP leader and lead with character. All right, guys?
Absolutely.
Have a wonderful week and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving and holidays to everybody.